We should be live in 3, 2, 1, 0, minus. Are we live? Yes, we are. Welcome back. I think I'm alone right now. But hey, at least... sorry, I'm a bit late with coffee. In the second part, which is kind of unannounced, we're going to work on a Godot tutorial this time around. Adding interactive objects to a tile map, to a level made with a tile map, and manipulating tiles from the code to spawn objects. We're going to make a tree, something that will figure a tree. And yeah, okay. So we're starting from scratch again. This tutorial is gonna be a Godot tutorial this time around. So let's open back the prototype. I need to make one asset that will figure some interactive elements. So one option is to reuse the gap object there is in the first tutorial in the movement project. That's one option. I think I'll do this. Copy the tile set over to the final project with the gap. So I'm talking about this project here. Hey, thanks for joining, by the way. Don't hesitate to use the chat. Okay, let's go back. Hey, please go back to... I think I'm gonna download the new version of Godot. Let's see, daily builds. There we go. At the same time, because it should have a few more bug fixes. When was the last build? Today? Yesterday. Perfect. Windows 64. There we go. So we're going to reuse another chapter. I'll put all that into tile set intro. Clean up this a little bit, and now in Dan the Rabbit course example character controller, we're going to copy final in tile set and tile map. I'll paste it. Add interactive elements. Paste the... So I'm using Godot projects to go along with certain videos. And every time you want to make sure that you copy the projects very cleanly, that you don't mess up previous folders you worked with. So every time you have to make copies of your Godot projects for the purpose of the tutorials. So in this one, this is the starting point. We have a character that can move in any direction, bump, and more importantly, fall in gaps. Okay, so the idea with this tutorial is we're going to have all the motion and a level in the background in which we'll place a tile to place a gap. Yeah, let's do something like this. I think I'll show people both ways to do things. There's a reason why you'd want to loop over the tiles in the code to spawn objects, like if you want to create random details, fairies or things like these. For the gap, I'm not sure it's the best idea, because when you are designing a level, you may want to place a house, for example, and on the door you will spawn an interactive object that lets the player move to the next level, for example. Gotta see which way is best, because if I don't show that, it makes for a very short video. That's the main problem. Okay, so I'll copy this folder to the other side and go find your first tile set. I think I'll grab the tutorial version. Level I don't need, but I do need the tile set. Okay, and let's do this. Let's change, excuse me, I'll bring the mic a bit closer. Let's just change the name of the project. It's gonna be spawn and using interactive other scenes with tile map. Let's do something like this for now. So we have our tile set, resource should work. I'll create a new scene in which we'll have just a node at the top. Oh, come on. Call it level, and the level will be made of a few tile maps. So, setting this up, we need the cell size to be 128 squared, and drag and drop the tile set resource in the slot to be able to draw the tiles. Hold on, castle was off, so I'm gonna make a square of grass to start with. Whoa, the frequency is really bad. Let me change the setup of the auto tile. What's the matter? Okay. So there's a problem with my priority value. Okay. There we go. Should be a bit better. Call it. Okay, let's call it map. Go back to the tile map, and now if I drag the grass, yeah, perfect. I get fewer strands. Okay. Hi, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. So in this video, we're making a Godot tutorial from scratch, which should involve a little bit of code. But first, I'm preparing a little map. There we go. Let's do something like this. No, I want the grass here. I can't, no, it's control click to sample, right? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Let's see, something along those lines. All right, I'm just placing a path around here. That's good. Maybe I'll add a second layer with a bush. The texture is not up to date. Got to change that. No, I don't think that's a good idea. I can place small bush elements here and there. The graphics are not very appealing. Yeah, okay, let's forget it for now. Maybe rocks on the... Well, because I duplicated it, it's true. Let me select all the tiles, erase the second layer. Now I should be able to place a rock or two. There we go. Okay, let's go back to the main level scene. And now, let's add the map in the background. I can't trim. So it renders on top. Let me see why that is. I guess it's because of the type of the node. Let's see if I change the type to node 2D. Yeah, okay, the render order is not exactly preserved because of the type of the node. So let's have the path inside like this and delete all the rocks we have in this example. I have to make a much lighter gap as well. Let's copy and paste you. Or pit, yeah, name was pit. For the colors, we're going to reuse that of the rock. Okay, let's try it this way. And we'll call you, you're going to be pit. Please select this, create a slice for the pit. And let's export you manually to the game. It was environment folder. The first step is to prepare the base level and project, so you code it like you would code a game, right? Okay, if I go back to Godot, now the color is a bit better. Okay, so we can hand place the gap element here and there in the level by hand. So that's one way to work with it. Click and drag to move it. Use the grid with snapping. By default, the snap is not so great. Let's use 32, 32. There we go. Larger grid step. It's a bit easier to place the objects that way. Let's see. What if I place a gap in there? No, it doesn't look too great. So they still work, although do we want to create... I guess I should create an auto tile for this tutorial. That's a gap, so you can burn them in the level and then make the tutorial about interacting with the tile map with code rather than using objects, because placing objects on top, there's nothing special about it. So I'm thinking about the course's design right now. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I need to create some kind of auto tile. For that. Auto tile that will interact with the grass, maybe. Okay. For this one we need another basic tile and we'll make you a gap. to use the dark color here. No stroke. And I don't need any variations or diagonals. This should be enough. Okay, there's going to be a little bit of graphic design to make the tutorial work. The stream is about making a tutorial. And everything you need for it. Okay. So for this one, it needs to connect with the grass. So I'll reuse these grass elements. I'll copy paste everything in there. And all that with the corners as well. Alright. But we're going to change some elements and some colors. Let's see. For these two, is it pure black here? Maybe we don't want pure black then. Slightly lighter background would not hurt. Right now I'm designing a pit that the character can interact with. Let's see. Wow, what is this one? Nah, come on. I want that. Okay, so you are here, good. I'm going to grab this color, go back to my material. Okay. Come on, stop selecting others. All right, now we can start talking. Okay, in both cases, well, in this case, I'm gonna try to make it look like a pit a little better. Okay, it's when you do these things, it's a bit tricky because you've got to make sure to place everything quite precisely. So hold on, 160, 160. If I do this, make you even darker here. On this one, it doesn't work too well, right? It's too small. You've got to make sure that all the tiles match. That's one of the biggest challenges. So you've got to make sure that all the tile sizes and the shapes and all that stuff have the same size between one set of tiles to the next, like I'm doing right now. Okay, now I was using some effects to generate the shadows. How can we do it efficiently? I guess we're going to going to cheat a bit. Let's see if we can with this shape. I'll try to add everything together into... I can only divide, right? Cannot I add all the shapes right now? Yeah, because all these are groups. How come I cannot everything be in groups? I cannot add everything together unless I break all the groups. Okay, let's try this. Crap, I don't want to remove you from here. Just copy something like that. Okay. The idea is you need some shapes. In like that. Let's center you here. You need to cut some shapes in the darkness here to create a convincing gap and a convincing tile. Okay. Let's see how it looks this way. I guess we've got to make them all the same height. And we're going to use, I guess I need to use groups too. Don't match perfectly. Well, that'll be okay for this tutorial. Add you all together. Copy paste. I wish I had my shortcuts here. It works already. It's not beautiful by any means, but with tiles it should do the job. Intersect. There we go. You can, principle, I make some tiling elements that I copy and paste around. And I try to make sure that it works everywhere. Let's see, I'm going to design this one by hand. Even if it's not too impressive, it should do the job. End of the curve here. Let's try to have you match your friend. With snapping, hold on. UI design is not the right preset. Pixel work, snap to grids, and object geometry for now. There you go. Alright, and we have our corner element. Right now I'm doing it as fast as possible because it's only for the needs of one tutorial, so you don't want to waste too much time doing these things. Having a tile map that looks really good is not really the point of a tutorial like this. Okay, so now with the first gap layer, you can see it from afar. If I hide this, it looks okay, right? It does look like you're going to fall into some gap. So all in all, it's fine. Oh, it's fine if I snap it properly, but let's say it's fine. All right. Now the top element has some layer effects. We're going to remove them. Why do you still? Oh, okay, it's duplicated. All right. Or maybe we can keep them and make the shadow a lot darker. So we reuse something like black. Does it work? Not too well. Let's see. Okay. Now what we have in here, we shouldn't do this, but I'm going to duplicate and make it a bit bigger. So when I do this, it's not going to tile perfectly anymore. However, I want to add one level, one depth level. I don't want to bother making it tile too well. Normally you design another pattern for this, all right? And maybe make this a little lighter then. Closer to the darkest color of the gap here. There we go. So it looks a little more like dirt. And the second group is going to be an intermediate color between this and black. There we go. Should do the trick. Maybe I should still have one level of depth like this, but let's say it's okay. So for this one, I'm gonna just modify the corners a bit. There we go. Making game art takes a lot of time, by the way, in case you didn't know. You can see already it's just a small example for one tutorial. It's going to take a few dozens of minutes. And already it's, because it's vector and the program allows for some tricks, right? It's a little easier this way. Like creating these curves, it's quite fast. Even if you do it sloppily, it still works. So another main issue you have when you're making tiles like these is, you see, I can't really scale down here it's going to break the tiling. This part normally I can't scale up, it breaks up the repetition. And I'm limited by my grid here. But at least it looks like a gap. I guess for this one I don't need to create paths. Let's see, well I can copy and paste this, so it should be alright. Let's see. Just to create these reverse corners, normally I can copy and paste that, center it in here, so I need to really center the tiles. Let me see, I'll remove this brown, grab these two and center them inside a new rectangle. This is going to be my black, so you can reuse the elements and you reverse the colors in this case. Okay, let's center everything. Alright. No, I have to use the shadow, drop shadow, but we change the color. Okay. And by reversing the colors like this, normally I should get decent tiling. Hey, welcome. So this one, let's call it pit. now I have this, I guess. For this tutorial, so this one is for the Godot 3 course, and the point is to show a little bit of code and setup for the game related to tiles. Just an introduction to it, so I can't make, there are too many chapters to make still, so you can't make too complex series. Ah crap, I moved things around again. Messed up the slices. To be honest, I really have to think about it. Okay, so for this, for one, I should make it part of the original tile. Ah no, let's have it as a separate element and export it. Does it export to PNG? Please, only PNG. Export the slice, and in tile set, let's have the pit. Alright. This way you're going to see how you set up an auto tile in Godot 3. I'll go back to the tile set, outdoor scene. This is the base scene from which I built the auto tile resource you can see here. So from the scene, I'll drag and drop the pit, make sure that snapping is on, yes. So I have my texture. Normally you'd use one large texture for your entire auto tile. What? Curious is the whole maker's art, unwitnessed by... Sorry, I didn't get the comments. So when you have a larger texture with multiple auto tiles, you use the texture region in the bottom panel to set it up. With snapping, you're going to use a grid to snap to. In general, your tiles having a fixed size, it's going to be much easier to work with, and you define the areas you want the texture, the sprite to use, like that. Click and drag, it defines the area, then you can duplicate the tile and select another area like the bushes here on the same texture. But I saved my sprite, my auto tile, as a separate texture, so I don't have to do it for this one. Now, to generate a tile set, as it's a resource, it's not a scene, you have to go to scene, convert to, and tile set. When you have a scene open, it's going to take all the sprites in it and make one tile for each of the sprites. By the way, they have to be top level. And when you have already a tile set resource, you're going to merge from the scene to update the tile set resource, and you can see I have a pit in the inspector. It wasn't there before. I'll make it an auto tile by checking the is auto tile here, and it should have appeared in the left column, but it did not. Okay. Now if I reload the scene, it does. The only problem is if I can't access the properties, it's not going to work. Yeah, let me reopen the project in a different Godot version. It should be in downloads. Okay. Hopefully it works here, otherwise we're screwed. Yes, now it works. So for each of your auto tiles, you have to set the size of the tile manually, then open the auto tiles bottom panel, and you have a few tabs in there. Icon to set an icon for your tile, like for the pit I'm going to select this. Then you have the bit mask to define how your how Godot will pick the tiles when you are drawing it in the scene. And this one, because the outer portion of the auto tile is grass, you can place it next to grass and it will transition seamlessly. Then there are collisions. That's where I'm thinking about how to do it. I think I'll need a collision, and I have to check the API. I'm not sure how to do this tutorial actually. Okay, so let's create some collision shapes. You have to create the collisions per tile, by the way. Zoom in to make it a bit easier. And no, we can't do it like that. So you have to always create the collisions from scratch. I'm going to create the collision polygons like this with it's not rounded, right? I'm using the grid to make it easier to create. When the player walks on these areas, it's going to fall in the pit. So you can start to see the kind of work that can be involved in making just a single Godot tutorial. And this is only the start. We're far from recording, editing, and all that stuff yet. First you have to create the base project, make it work, and make sure that it's relevant to the purpose of the course, the series, what you want to teach. Alright, I don't need a collider for this one, to be honest. I'll add one just for completion's sake. And then we need the 4 tiles on this side. Let's see. I guess I have to do it this way. And I think in the editor currently I can't remove one point. What if I Control Alt Shift click? Nah, doesn't work. So I have to start over. Slightly tedious work, but necessary. Yeah, so in the current editor, if you make one mistake, you start over. Not too great. But I guess it'll get better over time. What painting program are you using? It's called Affinity Designer. Oh, come on, YouTube. Alright, with all the collisions set up, we save. And it's good. It should be good. If I go back to my level, to the map, I should be able to paint the pit inside. There we go. Wow, the inner corners, they don't match at all. Why is that? Can I have a 100% view? No, I think I can't. But at least we've got the pit now. Ah, it's on layer 2, by the way. I want to show people that you can place it right inside of layer 1 and it should work. Okay, so we've got a gap in here in the grass. Well, maybe I'll place it down here. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Okay, I just need to fix these corners. So the point here is, well, one trick when you need to fix the tiling of some elements. You use a screenshot program. You go back to 100% zoom level. I'm using Share X, with which I can move my mouse cursor precisely when I take screenshots. 128, 128 should be good. So I do this and I paste it. It depends on the type of art program you use, but that allows me to see what's wrong with my tiling. And I'll just scale you up uniformly like that. Make it so it roughly matches, okay? Doesn't matter if there are some tiling errors. I really don't mind for this tutorial. Re-export the art. So you see, compared to this morning stream, this is closer to my regular work speed. Yeah, sure, makes sense. Well, it's not going to work this way, is it? Oh, no way. Yeah, we have to round out these tiles, obviously. The problem being Affinity Designer isn't the most efficient with that. So let's see. First, I'm not sure I can add them. Oh, worked well. I don't have really like sculpting tools. So to be honest, I really should recreate the tiles from scratch. But let's try this. Really dirty, don't do this at home. Don't do this if you want your game to look good. But again, for the needs of one tutorial, to be honest, most people won't see. And I think people are more interested in having the tutorial in the first place rather than having pretty graphics in the tutorial just for the sake of it. So I'm remodeling the element real quick to make it fit the corner. Okay, it's pretty horrible. Let's be honest. That's one thing that Affinity Designer is still lacking, is some sculpting tools. I think Illustrator has that, tools that feel a bit more like working in 3D with Vector, where you can make a selection, scale it, where you can also, I think the scaling part for the selection, they must know, other people must have told them already, because it's a lot of work, a bit tedious to move all the points around and scale or round out something. Okay, I'm gonna use some rounded rectangle for guidelines. Can put it on above my other layers and lock it so that I can work with the layers below it without selecting it. And again, gonna do very dirty things. So you know, I'm a pure designer at heart. I like things to be efficient. Otherwise, when things are going too slow, if this is work for a client, I'll take the time to do it, etc. But if this is just something for me, I may not have the patience to do it. For me, or for something minor, like doing it for one tutorial, for example, is like, this is not an important element for the tutorial. In the end, I'm not even sure it'll be used in the TOT. So let's see if I can do something this way. Maybe it'll work. Okay, let's see. Yeah, actually, I could have done it this way, much faster. Okay. Not too great. But again, does the job for now. The one thing I like a lot with Vector is the ease with which you can intersect elements together, create what we call booleans. So you can aggregate shapes together in a single curve and really quickly multiply, kind of like your selections. Create only one corner element. On the other computer I have shortcuts for that, so I do everything with the keyboard. even for rotating and flipping things around, I'll use keyboard shortcuts. Yeah, gonna do it with the mouse to create one element. And even then, I can sync it here by moving one pixel. Okay. Then copy the two of you, rotate you. Normally, I thought the rotator, I thought the shortcuts were default, but crap, it wasn't snapped perfectly. Okay, so let's redo this. There we go. Let's see if it works now. A little, it should be a little better than this. Horrible. But you can also see how a quick and dirty shape does the job, right? In the context of a level, if you add some plants, some extra sprites on top of it, you embellish the level, you have some gameplay, some action. To be honest, it's really okay. So now, let's see. Aha. Obviously, with the collider, you collide. Let us see how collisions work. What's kinematic collisions? I don't have tooltip in this version, it seems. Okay, so if I get it correctly, if I get it right, the character will always collide, like stop moving on the tiles. Let's see the dock for tile maps. We have the tile set, cell size. So we can get the integer of a cell. Get the used cells. Okay. I'm actually quite limited with the information I get. Okay, so we can't have a gap like that the character will fall into. Because we don't have control over the collision shapes. So we can't be like detect a collision and have it fall. Excuse me, the name of the screenshot program was ShareX. It's only on Windows, by the way. And I don't think there's an equivalent on that's as powerful on Linux, let's say. So okay, I can... Whoa, there's some collision gap here, not good. Gotta fix the gap in there. It's because of these collision shapes. So let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What? For all these parts. One, two, three, four. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you need the collisions to always match perfectly, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you use grid cells to make all the tiles match one another. Come on. Thank you. Let me grab this, that. So I not only have to move all these, I also have to move these because they need to be 4 cells in like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because this will be around there. I think that's it. Let's see when we play the game if we can see these collision shapes. I'll save, debug, visible collision shapes, and play the game. If we see them on the tile map, we do. So you can see if things do not fit. Okay, this is alright. Why do you get locked in? I don't know exactly why the character gets stuck in there around the top. Huh. Go. Let's try to get all the configurations around and see if there are any gaps. There should be gaps in our shapes. Know the AI that works very well. By the way, I'm going to move it around with sync the scene changes. There we go. Start here. Start there, and you're going to move on the path. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it gets stuck in it. Interesting. Must I create sharp angles in there? Normally the collisions should be okay. It seems it's kind of moving inside the collision shape. And I wonder if the shapes did update visually in the editor. Hold on, I've got to see. I don't understand why this is happening. And that this is new in Godot 3, so there's no documentation for one, and I haven't had much time to test it. Okay, so normally the results are saved. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Play the game again. Now look, the collision shapes, they did not update, visually speaking. So there may be a problem with a resource. Because normally, as you see here, if I hide the grid, the shapes, they should cross the grass, and when I play the game, they don't. You can see they're still inside, like I made them in the beginning. So let's save, quit to the project manager, and reopen and pray that it does save the changes. Open the tile set. Let's see. Aha. Okay, so it's the bug I've had making the chapter, and this is the most recent version, but sometimes it doesn't save your changes. Come on. And I don't know why. I don't know. I don't like anyway this working with resources in Godot. Okay, so moving you can move the collision polygon, but it seems you cannot really. It won't save. Maybe you have to redo it from scratch every time. So I guess we have to try this out. No. Start again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try this. Let's already just save, make visible collision shapes, and just check that this corner, do I have it somewhere? Should be this one, right? That just doesn't save any changes right now. Let me check. If I delete this shape and I do one like that in the middle, save. If I go back to the TRS file, so I quit it, I open the resource again. I have my shape here, but if I play the project, the collision does not update. Okay, so great. I think I can't do this tutorial right now. Basically, making the Godot course has been like that so far. Obviously, you don't want to... going to the wrong Godot. Because Godot 3 is not going to... It's done now, but it's not going to be the absolute most stable Godot release ever, because it's a huge update with tons of features. Even the auto tiles were made, I wouldn't say last minute, but it's Mariano made lots of new tools. He's improved the tile maps a lot, the tile sets at least a lot. But yeah, it needs a lot. Everything needs a lot of testing and debugging. So tile sets. Let's look for this. Now, all the issues are pretty old. Okay, so just gonna check with Mariano on Facebook. Excuse me, I'll do this on the other screen, so yeah. Just gonna send him a message. It turns out he's online. Don't know if you're if he's watching the stream right now. I'm going to take a screenshot for him, sending him a message on Facebook. Just want to know if he's aware of the issue. Okay, he's telling me you should save from the inspector. Okay. And not from the scene. So basically when you are on this interface and making changes to a resource, the tileset is a resource, and you save, you're saving the current scene, but it seems it will not always save the tileset. So let me save and see if the resource updates. Okay. Okay, so for now, saving the scene is not 100% reliable. Thanks to you, the stream can go on. And sorry for not writing on the screen, but this is Facebook, so I don't want other people's messages to show on. Hi, I'm Mariano is writing from the mall. That's okay. Thank you very much for the help. Okay, so let's get back to editing the tileset. All right, so I guess let me try now moving the points. And I'll save here. Play the game. Great. It works! However, I guess it's because we have a, how do you say, concave shape. It does not seem to like it. So I'll try, I guess it works okay. When you have collision shapes, okay, for a shape like the one we see here, Godot would have to create 3 polygons. You must not have gaps or insets inside a collision shape, and maybe it does not generate them here, I don't know, but we're going to have to create a sharp corner, and let's try with a sharp corner because it's the same issue. Maybe we create 2 collision shapes. Let's try this. I'll make it for 2 of the shapes. So we're experimenting live. If you're wondering why tutorials take so much time to make, there you have a sample of it, for it. Let's. I forgot to hit save now. Game creation requires a lot of experimentation already, so let's see, it's this one. Okay, so for one, because when you have a tile set, the collisions are per tile. Wow. Yeah, it really does not like these kinds of shapes. Let me see. So can I create 2 polygons in the same? No, I can't create 2 in the same cell. Okay, I've got to try and see how it works already if all the shapes match. Okay, 3, no, it's 3 from here, I think. I think I need to redo the shape here again. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Let's see if all the surrounding shapes match really well. So I'm making it so there's exactly the same number of cells, the same number of pixels from the border of the tile to the start of the collision shape. And we'll see. I hope it works, otherwise I don't know what to do. And I'll have to postpone this tutorial. Alright, let's try this. What did I do? Okay, it's... I messed up, sorry. Okay, so it's 3 from here. Hey. Okay, let's try with these two to start with. Save, and exciting stream, right? Yeah, it really has something with this tile. Let me see. Level, map. Let's change you. Don't use kinematic. Okay, does it change anything? I highly doubt it. Okay. So it has a hard time with, how do you say, concave shapes. Let me see, yeah, concave, okay. So, it doesn't like concave polygons, for one. You can see convex, okay, I think the issue is really the concave polygon. So I'm gonna send him another message. Okay, what do we do? What do we do? I really don't know. Because adding a scene on top of a tile map is nothing special. It really... I mean... At some point I considered making a video where you show a bit as in tiled, as in the tile map editor I showed before, making a video where you have people place objects on top of the map, but in Godot it's something you do. You want to place any scene or interactive element if you're using tiled with another engine, you're going to create placeholders. But in Godot, you don't create placeholders. You place the real scene directly onto the level. So I can talk about that in the tutorial. I guess I can talk about this caveat you have with tile maps, that you can't, unless you use a grid-based algorithm, like for an RTS, you may have a grid-based game where motion happens from cell to cell, but you can't have really complex interactions with the map. So if you want interactive elements, you'll have to create scenes for them. Because it'd be nice to have a complex gap area like that, or to have water, then when you walk into the area, yeah, you really can't. Let's see. Because you also have collision masks. What I'm looking for right now is, instead of defining a collision for my tile, I would like to have it work as an area. When you enter this area, you can have some code. I'm stupid, I forgot to look for Godot. So Godot tile. Okay, yeah, that's not possible. Any collision on a tile map will always be a collision shape, and it's not exactly like static bodies. If you have questions, by the way, don't hesitate to ask, right? I'm here for that. Okay. I guess for this, I'll add it to the intro to tile sets and tile maps. Like, what are the things you do with tiles and what are the things you'll avoid doing? And this spawning from the code, spawning objects from the tile map, not going to work. Because it's as simple as saying, if you want anything interactive on your level, you place the scene by hand in Godot. There you go. Inside the map directly, yeah, you instance scenes. So instead I'm going to show it in the intro video, and I think that'll be a much better place, because you're getting it on YouTube. It'll make for a slightly longer video, but that's a good thing to do. By the way, this one is done now. Okay. Alright. And this way I can also meet the deadline, which is tomorrow. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Just like this morning, gonna record the end of the tutorial. Last. Please excuse me. So I'll prepare the scene just a little better. Okay. Change the icon as well for clarity's sake. And clean up the tile set resource. Okay, so Mr. Pitt, let's fix you this way. So the thing is, concave doesn't work. So that's one thing to point out. And the collisions. Okay, let's do this and we'll see. Normally Godot should slice this in convex shapes, but maybe it's just not active right now on the tile map. I think Godot does at least slice things. I'll have to see. Let me see, if I were to add a collision polygon 2D here and create a shape. There you can see it slices the shape into, but it's not the same collision editor that we have right now for the tile set, so. If we could have this one, by the way, that'll be so good. This one with snapping, obviously, because this collision editor is pretty good. Okay. I think that's a nice ending for the video. So let's do this. I'll just do one last test in this scene. Okay, well, I forgot to save the resource. Forgot to go hit save. Oof, it kept everything. So that's good. At least it will keep everything in memory. Yeah. It really. So that's typically the kind of bugs you have when you try to use convex collision shapes, concave collision shapes. shapes that have gaps inside. All right. So just like this morning, a little bit of warming up for pronunciation. I'm going to cut the webcam and the desktop audio for now. Stop the music to record the last part of the tutorial. Then I will not do you the offense of editing it live, unless you want it, really, but I don't think that's the most interesting thing. I already did a live stream on this, editing in Blender, so you can go watch it. But that said, we're going to do it this way. So starting with the jaw, the lips, Sister Susie sat on the seashore swing shirts for sailors. Sister Susie sat on the seashore swing shirts for sailors. Sister Susie sat on the seashore swing shirts for sailors. Sister Susie sat on the seashore swing shirts for sailors. Should be good enough. All right, let's start recording. To wrap up this video, let's talk a bit about the... this is my face? No, it's okay. To wrap up this video, let's talk about the limitations of tile maps, especially in Godot. The one thing you may struggle with is that tile maps are designed for performance, for efficiency, and as such, you cannot really